last concept that we will learn this whole semester is the law of cosines, reminding us that trig can help us even if you don't have a right triangle. So, when we saw the law of sines, which to be honest is easier to use, law of sines was applicable when you had what I called 3 out of 4 pieces of information. So a complete pair of an angle and a side opposite, and then half of another pair of an angle and the side opposite. In this case, we have a lot less information. We've got 1 angle and 2 sides, but we don't have any opposite pairs that are given. So if you have 2 sides and 1 angle in a non-right triangle, you're gonna use the law of cosines. You can actually use the law of cosines if you have 3 given sides, as we'll see here. So I don't know why I wrote 2 sides and 1 angle, because it's also 3 sides and 0 angles. That's another option. So 2 sides and 1 angle, or 3 sides and no angles. You're gonna use the law of cosines. This crazy looking formula is what we call the law of cosines, and it is on your formula sheet, so don't worry about it too much. Just like that area formula, remember that the lowercase values are sides and the uppercase are angles. So this is a side, a side, a side, a side, a side, and an angle. That one is an angle. Everything else is a side. So keeping that in mind, this side right here is the one that's opposite your angle. These sides are not opposite your given angle. And I put that in a little blurb right here. So C and C are your angle side pair. Here's what we mean by that. I have an angle here and its side. Since those are paired up and I don't have any other angles to pair up with my other sides, I know that this is C and little c. That makes these two A and B. Doesn't matter which one's which. A, B, sure. So what I do now to find the value of x is I plug all that into this formula and then I can solve for c. So on the side here, I'm just gonna write my whole formula. C squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine c. Whew, okay. So I don't know what c is. I could replace it with x, that's fine. So x squared equals a is 2, b is 5, minus 2 times 5 times the cosine of angle C, which is 100. And this large, beautiful thing can just go right into my calculator, as long as my calculator is in degree mode. Mode, degrees, I'm good. Okay, so 2 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 2 times 5 times the cosine of 100. Yep, 2 squared plus 5 squared minus 2 times 2 times 5 times the cosine of 100. All good, okay. Bam, 32.47. I'm almost done. See, even though it looks kind of beastly, it's actually quite quick. I just need to square root x to undo the x squared. So x is the square root of this. So square root, in case you forgot where your square root button is, it is the second function on x squared. So second x squared gives me that square root of 32.47. Rounding is fine. So it's 5.7, let's say, feet. This makes sense because it does appear that x is the largest side, so it should be longer than 2 and longer than 5. Cool. The second example gives me 3 given sides and a missing angle. Since my angle side pair is here, like this is blank and that's blank, so those aren't my angle. That's my angle. So my angle is C, which makes the opposite side little c, and these sides A and B. Again, this could be A, that could be B, doesn't actually matter. So I'm gonna set out my formula. Little c squared equals a squared plus b squared plus, just kidding, minus 2ab cosine angle. Alrighty, little c is 8. 8 squared equals 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7 times the cosine of x. Okay, so this next step is really important. I had to tape over the notes that I just took because I did this wrong, and if you do this wrong, your answer will come out wrong. So 8 squared is 64. And keeping order of operations in mind, I have to do this part before the subtraction separate, and that part separate as well. So 10 squared plus 7 squared will give me 149 minus 2 times 10 times 7. 140 cosine x. Okay, so I will subtract 149 from both sides. And 64 minus 149 is negative 85 equals, and this minus comes down with you, negative 140 cosine of x. So divide both sides by negative 140. Again, I'm trying to get x by itself. So negative 85 divided by negative 140 is 0.607. And then you're gonna uncosine both sides. So the inverse cosine of 0.607 is 52.6 degrees. So the mistake that I made earlier is I put all of that in the calculator together, and you will get an error message at the end, so you'll know that you've made a mistake. So again, try to keep the part before the subtraction separate, and the part after it separate as well, because of order operations, you got to get rid of them in a separate order.